So yeah, people will sometimes say to me, you know, I've had so many young people over the years that have come up and talked to me and asked about doing this kind, but people come up and say, oh, I think I could do what you do. I said, really? I want to be there and see that.
Yeah.
Because,
and how's that go?
Well, because what happens is, you know, if you're clever and, you know, you have a couple of beers and you've got 7 minutes you can do it at your neighbor's trailer, you know, but then...
Is that a good gig?
But then, yeah, but the thing is, that 7 minutes collapses into 3.5 on stage because you're nervous, and then what are you going to do for the next 50 minutes? That's really. But I always had this. I always had this ability to just rev up my mind and pop the clutch on my mouth, and that was a lot of what Marshall Dodge did.
Yeah.
When Marshall, when I first started performing, he would just goad me. Okay, I'll give you a good Marshall Dodge story. So we were the it thing in the summer of 1981. I mean, come on, 4+ decades ago. And we were performing to sold out crowds, and we were at the theater at Monmouth. And we had our material that we work on. He would do a set, I would do a set, we would do a set together, and we'd work out an encore. We'd do something for an encore. Well, we were at the theater at Monmouth, and the theater at Monmouth is based on the Old Vic in London. If you ever been to the Old Vic, it's got a stage that's canted like this. There's no backstage. There's these balconies. Anyway, so we had a sold-out crowd, and we did our encore, and we went back, and they were just stamping and standing room only like this. And Marshall turned to me, and he said, what are we going to do? I said, just ask me some questions. So we walked out, and he said, well, what are you doing this summer? And I said, well, I went to the Pittsfield Egg Festival, and you know that got a little titter, but not much. And he said, "Well, what else?" And I said, "Well, I went to after that I performed at the Wiscasset Worm Days, and that got a little more of a rise." And then but he was, you know, he was steering me around. He said, I said, well, and of course there was the Black Fly Festival up to Rangeley and all. He said, tell me about the Black Fly, and I just made this stuff, the Miss Black Fly competition, you know, where they come out on a flatbed truck, you know, they can't afford them big lights, you know, like they got in Hollywood, but the police cruisers pack with the hind wheels down over the curb, and they put colored markers on the lights. It looks pretty good, and the girls stand there, and it's just like the Olympics, Dan, just like the Olympics. No chemicals, no 612, no off, no cutters. They just got to stand there. And the first one that squats, out she goes. There's only 2 left. It's real stuff. Anyway, we just made the whole thing up. And it became a set piece. And Marshall taught me to trust my comic instincts. And what I realized was that, just like here, you know, that when I'm on stage, it's a conversation with the crowd. Another thing Marshall told me, and it was brilliant. He said, do you want to learn just perfect comic timing? How to do perfect comic timing? I said, yeah, I'd like to learn that. He said, there's just one simple rule. It's hard, but if you can master it, you will be legendary for brilliant comic timing. I said, I'm all ears. He said, never, and I mean never, interrupt them when they're laughing. He said, if you walk out, say one line, and they want to laugh for 45 minutes, what business is it of yours? That's why they came.
I love it. Hey,